didn't take long for the fans of Creighton basketball to find out what we already knew in Sioux City. Nate Funk was special. Some would say he was virtually unstoppable on the basketball court. With a knack for coming through in the clutch and a flair for the dramatic, his college career closely mirrored the success he had at Heelan. Possessing a smooth jump shot, Nate would score 1,255 points in a little over 2 varsity seasons. He still holds the Heelan record for points per game with a 25.6 point per game average during the 2001-2002 season. He would lead the Crusaders to back-to-back state runner-up finishes in 01 and 02. At Creighton, Nate scored 1,754 points for the Jays. He was a 2-time All-Missouri Valley selection and was named Most Outstanding Player of the conference tournament in 2007. He would lead the Jays to the NCAA tournament in 03, 05, and 07, and has played more games in a Creighton basketball uniform than any other player in school history. Upon graduation, he played professionally overseas and was inducted to the Creighton Hall of Fame in 2013. In 2016, he was inducted into the Iowa High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame. Nate was also the starting shortstop on the 2001 state championship baseball team. And if you talk to his former coach, Tim O'Neill, he would tell you Nate was a better baseball player than he was a basketball player. Nate currently lives in Cedar Park, Texas, and works as a chiropractor. Tonight, presenting Nate Funk for enshrinement will be his former head coach, Tom Betts.
When did I first encounter Nate Funk as an athlete? I think it was when he was a freshman at Heelan. I wasn't yet coaching, but I came to a basketball game, and Nate had been pulled up to the sophomore team. And I looked out, I was watching the sophomores play, and they had this little guy that was 5'5", 5'6", and maybe 110 pounds out there playing. And I thought, what in the world is this guy doing on the court? What is his dad, the coach? It was, after about 10 seconds, it was easy to see that this guy was going to be exceptional. And I appreciated him because he was a little guy like I was as a freshman, and I knew sooner or later he was going to grow and be pretty special. It was probably Nate's sophomore year is when we realized how exceptional Nate was. Nate was pulled up to the varsity as a sophomore. He had grown a little bit since that time. I'd seen him as a freshman. And we had a new staff. Coach Moody had come back, myself, Bob Geary, Pat Schultz was the staff, and we had challenged ourselves early in the season. We'd gone down to Des Moines to play at Hoover and Urbandale, 2 perennial big school powers. And we lost both games, but we came back from that weekend and we knew we were going to be pretty special. We knew we had a very special player, Nate Funk, the way he just rose to the occasion as a sophomore, turned some heads, and not only turned the heads in the stands, but turned the heads of his teammates. We knew we had something special. I think when you think about Nate Funk and what made him different than most high school athletes, number one is his attention to detail. In whatever he did, his shot was the prettiest shot you ever saw. And it was, again, it was a textbook shot, but it was pure. It wasn't rigid. It was just it was a work of art to watch him shoot the basketball. He had the best 15-foot jump shot you probably ever saw. And I think his willingness, he was a great teammate. We always say, if your best player is your hardest worker, you're going to be pretty good. Well, Nate followed that example to a T. He was our hardest worker. And no offense to any of his teammates. But his attention to detail, his willingness just to take on that leadership role, because everyone knew Nate was special. But he didn't walk around like he was special. He involved every one of his teammates. He valued what they did because it was always team first with Nate. And that's kind of a rarity as well. And his cool and calmness under pressure, so many situations in his career, whether in high school or college, you never saw Nate, he was just steady Eddie. He was the same all the time. and he rose to the occasion of whatever was presented to him. The one moment that stands out is his Hall of Fame moment, and I think it's one of the greatest moments in Iowa high school basketball history. Was we were playing Western Dubuque. We needed to tie, 2 points to tie with just a few seconds left, and we drew up a play in the timeout. Coach Moody didn't have a voice. I was a young coach. We're screaming, and we called a play called Double Fist Duke, and Nate comes off a high post pick with the ball. He hits a fadeaway from the baseline from 15 feet, 17 feet. Where he landed was probably 23 feet. That's how far he was going away from the hoop. His body's going away from the hoop, and it dropped in like a beautiful, and we saw it from our bench. It was probably one of the most beautiful shots. Unfortunately, we lost in overtime to Western Dubuque on a last-second shot as well. But that shot, I think, still is remembered around the state as one of the best shots in state basketball tournament history. It's an honor and privilege to present Nate Funk to the first class of the Heelan Hall of Pride. Congratulations, Nate. You're deserving. You're one of the all-time greats on and off the court.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nate Funk.
Thank you, Coach. Where are you at, Coach Betts? Thank you for all those nice words. When Jay called me about 7-8 months ago and told me that I was going to be a part of the first Hall of Pride class in Heelan history, I'll be honest with you, I really had no idea what I was going to say. But just recently I decided that I'd just like to give my opinion on a question that a lot of you probably already gotten as parents, as grandparents, and that's if you have a kid that asks you someday, Dad, Mom, Grandpa, I want to play college or professional sports. Kind of like Don was talking about, what do I do? What advice do you have for me? And my wife and I, we have a 5 and a 2-year-old, and there could be a day sometime where our kids ask us, and I say us because my wife, most people don't know, she was a Division I high jumper at Texas State, so she knows the grind, she knows what it takes to do that. And so I'm just going to speak on my personal experience, looking back and how I believe that it happened for me. And if, as a parent or grandparent, if you want to take this advice, please do. But this is just my opinion. I think it boils down to 3 non-negotiable things. Number 1, you have to be surrounded by great people. Okay, I think Mary touched on that just a little bit ago. You have to be surrounded by great people, and for me, that begins with family. Okay, I understand that you can't help who created you, what family you were born into, but I was lucky enough to have 2 amazingly supportive parents. I had a brother who constantly pushed me, never gave me anything easy, and I still think that is where I got my competitive drive that I still have today. My sister, she was always just there for me to make sure, no matter how hard things were, how difficult things were, that I was okay. And the game was never forced on me. Basketball, no sport was ever forced on me. It was actually the complete opposite. I was only allowed to go to one. Ironically enough, it was a future Crusader basketball camp when I was 9 or 10 years old. And I'm still bitter about that to this day, but what's your response, Mom? It turned out okay, right? Okay, you're not wrong. But that just goes to show you that you don't need to go to 100 camps, and youth sports is a big topic these days. Okay, there's a lot of controversy around it about overtraining and sending these kids to too many sports, all of this. It just goes to show you don't have to go to 100 camps every year if you want to play college sports or professional sports. The second thing, you got to be surrounded by, you got to have amazing friends. Okay? Who is in your circle of influence? You know, you can't pick your family, but you can pick your friends. And I've got some really good ones. I graduated over 20 years ago now. I can't believe it's been that long. And I still have the same core group of friends that I did when I graduated. These are the same friends that wanted to challenge me, face guard me every single day in practice, and then meet me in the summertime, whether it was 8 or 9 o'clock at night, guard me, rebound for me, and even hold up tennis rackets and brooms so that I could shoot over a 7-footer. These relationships are irreplaceable and something that you have control over. So you just got to ask yourself, who are you surrounded by? Who are you choosing to spend the most time around? Are they adding from your life or taking from it? My friends, added to my life. Second non-negotiable piece is you cannot be afraid to ask for help. You gotta have people open doors for you. You know, there's a lot of coaches in this room right now. You know, it took me until after my playing days to realize that these are individuals who spend countless time away from their families, their kids, their wives. They spent after hours watching film, taking phone calls, texts, emails from upset parents because their kids should play more. They should get more playing time off or what? They don't get a whole lot of fame, and they sure as heck don't get paid a lot of money for it. So, you know I shook the hands of a lot of coaches, you know, that I haven't seen for, 20 years. And so I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you, regardless of whether or not I played for you, regardless of whether or not I had the pleasure of working with you. I just want to say thank you, because you changed a lot of lives, and you definitely changed mine. You know, Coach Betts, he doesn't even know why I asked him to present me, but really it has nothing to do, just a little bit, but not a whole lot to do with the time he coached me my junior and senior year. It was after that. Every summer between my freshman, my sophomore, my junior, my senior, and every single summer when I was playing overseas and I was back home, I'd give Coach Betts a call. Hey, Coach, can I get in the gym? Can I get in the weight room? And no matter what he was doing, Coach Betts was always doing something. He's either selling cars, he was painting his house, he was remodeling something, mowing his lawn. God knows what he was doing all the time. But no matter what he was doing, the answer was, you know, absolutely. You know, and even if I couldn't, or even if he couldn't meet me at the gym, and he's like, Nate, just come over, take the key, and if anybody asks you while you're there where I am, so just tell him I'm right around the corner, I'll be right there. Knowing that he was at home mowing the lawn or something. So again, why did he do that for me? Okay, because, you know, he's a coach. It's in his DNA. You know, that's just what coaches do. So that brings me to non-negotiable number 3. Okay, so when you're offered help and when that door opens for you, is Father in here? You better bust your ass. Okay? Because if you do not, that door will slam shut faster than you can believe. Okay? So I know John was just talking about, you know, trying to revamp the football program. It's just about, there's no secret. There's just no secret sauce to what that takes. It's just, you just gotta work hard. The only reason, you know, that I'm standing up here right now is because of those 3 things. You know, not everything I did was right. Not everything I did was perfect. It was not easy. But I had a lot of great people, and a lot of you are in this room right now. A lot of great people around me. But when you tend to work your tail off, like Coach Betts mentioned, luck and good things tend to happen to you. So, you know, I'll be honest, I chatted with Coach Schultz here just a few minutes ago, and you know, this is an awesome thing for this school, for this program. years since the school was open, so 73. But I'm glad this happened. I'm glad you all made this happen. So this is an incredible honor, and I'm extremely proud to be part of the first class